So good morning from Times Square in Hong Kong. It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. Hope you're living the dream. If you're not, then you're doing it wrong. So I wanted to make a couple of observations. This is the Times Square logo thingy. I don't know if you do this. So when I go to like new places, I like to take public transportation as much as I can if it's decent. I mean, the bus system in Bangkok the public bus system is kind of cryptic for me, unfortunately, just simply due to ignorance. And it's also not always air conditioned. That can be tough at times in Bangkok. But what I wanted to say about here is, you know how, like, I mean, there's advertising, right? So every almost square inch of space, a lot of times, especially in public transport, cities will take the opportunity to offer that up for advertising, right? So like anywhere on the building, right? Not uncommon. And what I noticed this morning, it didn't hit me until, so I've been here like 2 days, was that the majority of the advertising here is health and beauty, makeup, basically, but not as much whitening as there is in Bangkok. There is almost no advertising for food, and certainly when it is, it's rarely like fast food. I haven't seen one McDonald's advertisement, which is not sort of really odd. However, I also haven't seen one overweight person, except when I look in the mirror. Everyone here is, like, everyone is fit, thin, slim. They're not, starving by any means, and they're not underweight. They are appropriate. And there's probably, I'm gonna guess, 3 sizes of clothes that sell here. Probably 2, 3, and 4 for women, and for men it's probably a 31-inch waist with a 30-inch leg. But it's, that part is, and then there's obviously, right, there's everything that's available. And, there's Prada, and there's a lot of high-end brands. Obviously, the wealth here is more significant than in Bangkok. The cost of living, I actually think that it might be a little bit more than Singapore, in the sense that for like a 1 or 2 bedroom place, you pay about $3,000 US, maybe a little more. A studio you can probably get for less than $3,000. But again, it depends, right, where you live. And where we're staying, we're paying like $75 a night. So even if she rented the thing 100% occupancy, she'd be at about $2,000. It's a studio. It's a very small studio, but everything here is small, with the exception of this mall. It's quite large. Anyway, so I'm in Times Square, and no, it's not like Times Square in New York City, but it is. It's an office building. The reason I'm here actually is because I have meetings, gratefully, with Alibaba Group, and specifically to their cloud product and how they are trying to get people engaged in that, specifically younger people, on this one program that I'm working on with called Alibaba Educate, which allows for teachers to basically get trained for little to no cost, and then the expectation is that you will offer that education up to university students. They will get a significant discount on their training, and or they will get a zero cost for training, and then it'll be the certifications are next to free. So anyway, but it's interesting too. I'm at the Causeway base station of the MTR. But like a lot of places, when you get off, right, there's like exit 1 and exit 2. And here, they really spread out the exits. So I mean, you can get off on one station. And it's not just like, you know, one exit is on one side of the main street, the other side, the exit is on the other side of the street. It's like you can end up 4 or 5 blocks away. I mean, I think it took me more time once I exited the subway train to finally get up here to street level walking than it did for the train to get from the 2 stops I needed to get to, so from Admiralty to Causeway Bay. And it's so anyway, so I'm gonna just sort of stroll around a bit. I believe that is the actual building there where my meeting is. But I'm gonna walk around. It's kind of nice doing these videos because, of course, I am literally taller than everybody, and so that's nice. I don't feel like I'm throwing this camera in their face, which, you know, some people don't particularly like. So that's sort of interesting. So here's what's funny. So we're on a main street the other day, and the title of the shop was Sex Shop, right? And so we both giggled. But it was interesting because it really, all I could think is that they basically just sell like lingerie. So the level of adult here, it seems to be a little bit less, certainly, than the red lights of Bangkok, which one could argue are pretty excessive. And there are some cities, let's face it, in Thailand that are like no other in the world. And I always laugh when people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to Sin City this weekend, when they talk about going to Las Vegas. And like, Las Vegas is like kindergarten compared to a lot of other places in the world. But in any case, so I'm gonna walk around. It's pretty cool. It's Times Square. And man, the MTR system here is stellar. Oh my God. I mean, I can get as many places as I want to so far. Who knows, maybe the outskirts, it's like, nah, you gotta have a car, it's a pain in the neck. But public transport, pretty excellent. The other thing I'm not quite sure of, so it's 9:15 right now, and I'm not totally sure when sort of the office hours begin here. It seems as though everyone sort of commutes between about 8 and 9:30, and then it seems like a lot of shops, the majority seem to open about 10 a.m. Which, you know, that's not uncommon, right? I mean, the malls in other cities open around 10. But as you can see, I mean, that's a chain, right? Cherty. And that's not open yet. And it's 9:15. So that's sort of interesting, right? Seeing an LED billboard not on during the day. Wasted real estate, wasted advertising. But oh, those are really cool, right? Have you seen those? It's like, they're 2-story, they're double-decker, I guess. But they have, they're very thin, they're very slim. And I think they're over 100 years old. Does that sound right? I'll have to Google that. But the other thing, too, that I heard from everybody is, oh my God, it's so crowded, it's packed. And, you know, I mean, look, dude, it's 9:15 and I'm in Times Square. This is not packed by any means. Now, maybe once this mall opens, or that's where my meeting is, actually. Sorry, I was across the street, Times Square right there. In about 45 minutes, I'll cruise up. So right now, I'm just going to look for a coffee shop. And if it was Cherty was open, that would be great. But in any case, no, it's not that crowded. I mean, and everyone is incredibly orderly when it is packed. Like, I'm on the train this morning, and there is no place to stand. I mean, they wedge you in to the point where, you know, the guy will be sitting there sort of monitoring, and he's like, no, you can't get in. Like, there's just no more room in the train, dude. You may have seen some of those videos, you know, on YouTube or whatever, about the Japanese trains where they like literally push the people. They don't do that here. They're like, no, just wait for the next train, because they come every 120 seconds. I mean, you're gonna get where you need to go safely, and it's clean. But in the morning, I mean, everyone is incredibly appropriate. And as I mentioned in a couple other videos, I feel very safe here, which I like a lot, because one of the challenges for me is that I have this awesome job, and I'm hardly slave labor, and so I get to, you know, work with a whole bunch of people that are going to be the future, i.e. college students, and so that's an honor. And so I stay there, right? And then my boss is amazing. And the folks that I get to work with, the guys that report to me on the org chart, who basically means I work for them, they bring their brains to work, and I love it, even on the weekends, that's amazing. So I stay there, but one of the challenges, of course, is that means I live and work a lot in Southern California, and Gracie lives literally on the other side of the world in the Philippines, right? So one of the sort of odd things is that, we see each other, and I mean, it is the best relationship I've ever had. But the downside, of course, is that she's over here. And so what occurs is a lot of times we meet like we did here in Hong Kong for, Thanksgiving, or Bangkok, or in December we're going to meet in Singapore. So it's awesome when we can find a city where Gracie feels incredibly safe, because then, there's no worry. I mean, I'm not going to spend my days rocking back and forth in the fetal position because, oh my God, my girlfriend's going to be unsafe. I mean, she's an adult, she can take care of herself. But the point is that, it's a lot nicer for her to go somewhere. I mean, we would much rather meet each other in Bangkok, and certainly now Hong Kong and Singapore, since we've both been there. That's a very safe place. Than in Manila, which is a bummer because that's her country. But Manila's got a lot of, it's growing, and in fact, she and I were having a discussion last night about her president, Duterte. And I asked her, I said, can he get reelected? Because if he can, that's good. He's done a lot of good. He's done some imperfect stuff, but I mean, for God's sake, it's not like he's doing Trump nonsense to get his message across. There's some things that one could argue are the ends justify the means, but I like him. I think he's got a lot of backbone, and I think he basically cares for the people. And that's kind of who you want to be your leader. So, anyway, Mike's version of politics. Well, I'm going to stroll around Times Square, have a look, maybe get some tea or some coffee, and I'll check back in. And once again, it's Mike's from livemyassoff.com in Times Square in Hong Kong, saying I hope you're living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, you have not ridden the MTR. Ciao.